Good, good, good. Hey, I'm glad I was able to get you on here. Glad you're able to carve out a little bit of your busy schedule to be able to conversate with me and
Absolutely.
share another episode of this podcast of mine. But
Mhm.
without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and do the intro, and then we'll get started. All right.
Awesome.
Hey, so what the business is, you already know who it is. It's your boy coming through with a little bit more of that for the culture. And today I have another one of my Army Reserve battle buddies on this live with me. Wanted to get her on here to elaborate and share her thoughts and opinions about some of these topics that I have. But without further ado, I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself to the audience. So
Hey, everybody. My name's Alyssa, last name Chavez on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm Chavez Alyssa. Um, I am, quit it. Sorry, my child now. I got a child and a dog. They're trying to distract me. Um,
gotcha.
but I am a competitive bodybuilder. I just got out of the Army in March. I was a drill sergeant. So I think that's kind of how we connected was
Hmm. Okay.
through all of that stuff. And then
Hmm.
yeah, I do a lot of stuff. I'm a model. Try to do all the things all at once. So
Okay.
that's my life.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Hey, so I'll go ahead and jump into the first topic then. All right.
Mhm.
Hey, so how's life? How are you living?
Life is good. There's been a lot of change in the last
Okay.
probably like 3 to 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, but it's all been for the best. It's all been for positive changes. I am out of the military, all sorts of transition with that. I got job
Hmm.
transition, I got life, relationship transition, all sorts of things. But everything is kind of like if I had to say like a year ago I was here, I'm now like here. So I'm
Okay.
enjoying it. I definitely feel like I'm drinking out of a fire hose on a daily basis of just new stuff to learn, things to do, being pulled in a thousand directions. But busy is good. Busy is not always a bad thing, and I think just balance and focusing on trying to control everything I can control, and then letting go of the things I can't. Is kind of my mantra for this entire year. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hey, trust me. The life transition and the different trials and tribulations and the hurdles that
Hmm.
you have to jump over, it's definitely a lot can be added to your plate. But
Yes.
it's all about how you balance it, how you find those you know
Yep.
needed releases, and to be able to get to where you actually want to go, so you don't plateau and just stay in the same spot.
Yep.
But
And
I
so you
agree
don't
though.
burn out because it's
Yeah,
very easy to
definitely.
burn out.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Hey, well, appreciate you sharing that.
Mhm.
Don't want to get too personal with you,
You're
but
good.
okay, all right. Hey, so how was your journey in the military? Let's start there.
Um, it was it was interesting.
Okay,
There are parts I would do over again in a heartbeat. Number one thing I would do is go back to Benning and be on the trail.
okay,
Those were my best times, my most fun times. I made some lasting friendships.
hmm,
Just overall, that was where I was happiest in my job, my responsibilities.
right,
I think the bullshit is what I don't
hmm,
miss. But it's interesting looking back. Like when I went through basic at like 18 years old, I fractured my hip, and I
okay,
didn't admit it till I got to AIT. So I passed basic, fought through it, got to AIT here in San Antonio actually, and
hmm,
within about 2 3 weeks, my PT test went from like running 8-minute miles to like 10-minute miles. And I still
okay,
barely passed. Like I made it, but it was rough. And I was like, this was the old APFT.
right,
And it was definitely one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm injured. And I had a demon starting first class at the time who
hmm,
took it upon herself to make sure that if you were injured, you were not getting a med board, and she was going to do everything she could to kick you out.
mm,
So I fought to stay in. Quit, please. I fought to stay in.
right,
And looking back, I realized now after 9 almost 10 years in, I could have fought for a med board. They would have had to give it to me. But you're a little private at the time. You're scared of anybody who has a rocker, and you're like, you don't know what to how to advocate for yourself. So I just was like, well,
Definitely.
I gotta fight and stay in. So I did. And then going back through drill sergeant school, re-injured it, but not to that same level because I had picked up bodybuilding to strengthen and try to um, fix some of the issues that I had. It'll never fix the broken hip; it's always going to be there. But like
Right.
strengthening everything around it to support it helped me at least get through drill sergeant school, so that then I could be a drill. So the journey was interesting. It also is interesting as a female, and it's interesting as a not ugly straight female,
Hmm.
because you're in such a male dominated everything. I think my drill sergeant school class was like 99, and of the 99, there were 30 females, and I think 10 of us liked men. And
Mm.
so you can imagine the drama that
Yeah.
ensues. And some of them were married to like other people in the school. So like of
Oh
those,
wow.
maybe six of us were like people that they just were like animals, and it was like a feeding frenzy. It was crazy. And there's so much drama. There's always been drama. And I think that's one of the biggest things that made it difficult for me to be happy, to succeed, was was just the drama because, I'd be working my ass off, doing the best I could, and then somebody just assumes I'm sleeping with somebody. And it's like,
Right.
no, like I'm just trying to work, like I'm just trying to go home. And
Yeah.
it definitely kills your morale, it kills your motivation for that to happen in
Hmm.
nearly every unit you're in. Um,
Definitely.
so that was one thing that I enjoyed on the civilian side. I haven't really had to deal with. Like I'm even now working in a more male dominated environment. Um, I don't, they respect me. They treat me with respect. Whereas in the military, I didn't get that as much, and it was rough. But I had a, like I said, Benning the trail was the best because it was in a male dominated environment, but they treated me
Hmm.
like I knew what I was doing, treated me like a subject matter expert, treated me like one of them.
Hmm.
And so it was definitely one of the highlights of my career. That please stop. That
I got you.
So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. Hey, appreciate you sharing all that. Like
Yeah.
I know that whole working in male dominant MOSs or male dominant fields is hard and stressful for our females because I've had some other females and other female drill sergeants that have been on my podcast that have completely told me the same thing.
Yep.
Just, like the scrutiny, the trying to chastise you to make you feel like you're not as good as or
Yep.
and them trying to exert that alpha role and do all of this craziness. So
Yep.
I do see it, and I do hear you on that. But I
Hmm.
appreciate you sharing that with me, though.
No problem.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, all right. So let me ask you this. I know you kind of answered it a little bit, but I'm gonna still ask you the question though.
Mhm.
What made you get so heavy into fitness? Like, regardless of the injury that you had with the hip, what else made you want to get into fitness?
So the injury really is kind of what kickstarted it.
Hmm.
That and I just didn't like my build. I
Okay.
looking back, I realized I grew up with body dysmorphia. It kind of runs in my family. My mom had some body dysmorphic tendencies as well. And then now I know it. I didn't know it then. Um, So I really was just never content with how I looked.
Mhm.
And I always liked being strong, but I thought I was athletic because I didn't know how to lift. I didn't know any of the resistance training side of things. I just knew how to run, knew how to do push ups, knew how to do sit ups, could do a pull up here and there, and had a good vertical jump. So I could do like a law enforcement PT test.
Right.
Um, but with my hip, that was where they're like, hey, you need to start doing some resistance training and build the other glute muscles around it, the medius, the minimus, to support it. And I was just like, what? And so as I got to lifting, I started kind of like going down the rabbit hole of what direction to go with lifting because obviously you've got your Olympic, you've got your powerlifting, you've got your
Mhm.
bodybuilding, you've got CrossFit, and I know the military does a little more CrossFitty type stuff, but
Right.
I really fell in love with the aesthetic of bodybuilding, partially because of
Okay.
body dysmorphia. Um,
Hmm.
but I just saw these, girls and the cut, chiseled look, but then the strong phase when they're not getting ready for the stage. And I was like, I like that. I think I'm going to take that direction. So I started training with a pro bodybuilder, and he kind of taught me the fundamentals of how to lift, what to do, how to do it. Taught me some things wrong, actually. Like I got some injuries because I was doing some things that I could have done better now with form.
Okay. Bet.
But then I was gonna prep for a show and then found out I was pregnant with my kiddo, so did not prep for the show. So I finally did a show in 2022, and that
Mm,
I won the whole thing. It was pretty cool. And so this next probably year and a half, I think I'm gonna shoot for another one, and then depending on how I do, maybe go for a pro card, but we'll see.
okay. Hey, well, hey, obviously, we've been tapped in, so I've seen your journey, I've seen your growth, and
Yeah,
I also want to personally congratulate you on the show that you did win. You
thank you.
know, being coming into it at first, and that being your first one, and you going to win it all, that's major. So I know that was a big accomplishment for you, and it's something that you worked towards. So, giving you your flowers now. So
Thank you. I
good job. Good
appreciate it.
job. Wonderful. Oh yeah, definitely. And I know you're gonna do wonderful at on the next one also. All right.
I'm
But
excited.
yes, ma'am. Okay. So I do have to ask you this because I know it's so many people in on the world. They have so many different fitness goals and
Mhm.
and they fall off of them. They don't stay content with them. But how do you stay so consistent with your fitness goals? Like, what's things that you do to keep you on track to
Yeah.
reach that pinnacle of where you're at?
I think one of the biggest things with fitness goals and staying consistent is knowing when
Mhm.
to adjust. I think,
Okay.
it's really easy to have a fitness goal and just charge headlong into it when you don't have
Mhm.
anything else pulling at you. But when
Right.
you're a mom, when you have a full-time job, when you have, finance stuff, when you have all these stressors outside that
Mhm.
sometimes are not conducive to your fitness goals. The biggest thing for me this past year has been being willing to take a step back when I need to. And
Okay.
that way I don't burn out. So I don't have to be like, no gym for the next 3 months, but I'm cutting back from 5 to 4 days, or
Okay.
I'm getting a little more diet flexibility and kind of just setting expectations with myself of what to expect in the next few weeks if I can't hit X amount of macros. So I think being able to adjust and be flexible when you need to is what keeps me on track because you're not a failure for having to step back and focus on something else. You're not
Mhm.
you may not accomplish what you're wanting to accomplish as soon if you have to scale back a day at the gym.
Right.
But I've been able to really treat the gym as a reward, and not as a have to. While because
Gotcha.
I started a new job last week, and it was very much a like mind fuck, just like drinking out of a fire hose. I have so much
Right.
information, my brain is fried, and so rather than go to the gym the first 4 days, I opted to just come home, rest, give my brain a break because taking pre workout at 5:30 at night, going to the gym, getting back at 7 something, trying to slam food, trying to go to bed and try to get up early the next day. I was just like, I need to prioritize sleep. My body will thank me a lot more for that. Um,
Mhm.
and then Friday, once I got done with everything, made it through the week, I was like, all right, I've earned the gym. But now that I've got my feet under me, it's back to the gym is a meeting. The gym is a prior engagement. The gym is on my
Right.
calendar. It is set in stone. Everything else happens after that. I want to go out with my friend, going to the gym first. So I think in another podcast that I was in recently, we talked about, I think it was like an hour is like 4% of your day, or
Mhm.
30 minutes, one of the two. I forget the math. But, if you put aside an hour, if you can put aside an hour for lunch, you can put aside an hour to just go to the gym. You can
Definitely.
get up a half hour early. You can go take a 20-minute walk. There's little things people are not willing to do, but they are very, very attainable. And like I have a gym right by my new apartment, and I don't like it as much. It's not my gym. Like it's not my
Right.
people. It's different vibe, different equipment. It's not my favorite, but like, when I'm coming home from work, running to go hit arms real quick, gonna go out with my friend, gotta go back to work, it's right there, and I can go hit a
Gotcha.
good 30-minute 4 or 6 set workout and blaze through it and get out of there. So, I think a
Okay.
lot of people have a misconception that you have to spend 2 hours in the gym. You do not. 9 times out of 10, you are not eating enough to be able
Mm,
to sustain that. Um, 45 minutes, 15 of that being warm up, 30 of it working sets, you're probably good. So
yeah.
I think just being very realistic and really intentional. And like I said, knowing when to shift your focus and balance your focus is what helps keep that consistency without having to eliminate something entirely.
Okay. All right. I like that answer. Good,
Hmm.
good. Okay. I know that answer right there will probably help a lot of people who
Yeah.
actually see this because, there's a
Yep.
lot of people as
Yep.
stated that fall off of it that
Yes.
don't
And
find a
and
happy
and you
medium
just have
somewhere.
to, a good coach, even if like I was training with a coach for 3, 4 months of last year,
Hmm.
and I wasn't where I wanted to be financially, and bodybuilding is expensive. I wasn't where I wanted to be. Like my kid needed some more mom focused time, and I just kind of had to be like, look, man, I love it. I love what we're doing. I got to take a break. Like I got to
Right.
get some things in order. I need to scale a day back at the gym, be home with my kid more,
Hmm.
because it does pull you away from other things like that. And so, you might have to put your bigger goals on hold to
Gotcha.
take care of the things you have to do first. So,
Okay. All right. All right. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. So with that though,
mhm.
my next topic is going to go into a little something different though, because I know you're super passionate about your fitness and your bodybuilding, but when did you become so passionate or gain such an interest for modeling? And like, how did that come into the mix for you?
So modeling's been interesting. It kind of popped up right around the time I started prepping for the show.
Okay.
Um, I a lot of times, I mean, you'll see bodybuilders, they do the photo shoots, they do all the jacked and shreddy, like dramatic lighting and all that stuff. They do a lot of photo shoots, and I realized I'd always wanted to be a model. I had that misconception that you have to be a size zero, 6 foot, female
Hmm.
to be a
Yeah. Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
And I realized, I have a very different physique, a very different persona, a very different build. I have
Okay.
really interesting tattoos. And
Mhm.
but there are a lot of photographers out there that don't get the opportunity to shoot that very often. And
Okay.
so when I picked up modeling and did a couple shoots, it just took off. I mean, I had shoots starting like every single weekend, sometimes double headers, sometimes triple headers. I had to start limiting. I was like, holy crap, like I'm doing a lot. But then my Instagram started to grow. You start monetizing off Instagram, you start
Hmm.
building that momentum, and the momentum just kept going. And then it was interesting because I was able to document the different phases that my body goes through with
Hmm.
bodybuilding and with recomps and with everything else. Please stop. You're driving me crazy. Um, but I could see myself, 20,
Hmm.
30 pounds heavier a couple 5, 6 months after I was super, super lean. And I'm like, I still look good. And a lot of people go through a lot of body dysmorphia when it comes to post show because you see yourself so nitty gritty, like grainy, lean, all these striations, veins, everything. And you love how you look. And obviously you're winning awards. Um,
Hmm.
and then you're like, okay, I have to go back to where I was prior because I'm weak, and if I try to go deadlift 300 pounds, I'm gonna tear something.
Right.
Um, so it really helped me fall in love with the strength phases. It helped me love the different phases that I'm in. Um, and I also learned a lot. With modeling, sometimes can also be sort of acting. You have to be able to convey different emotions and different feelings. Like without thinking, I will go to power poses and I'll be like, and then I have to be like, no, I have to soften. And then you soften your face and it's like something totally different. So
Right. Right. Right.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty expressive. And I've met a lot of cool people through it, got a
That's
lot of
good.
awesome opportunities in just, 3, 4 years of doing it.
Hmm.
And I've made a pretty solid name for myself, even moving down to Texas. I just hit the ground running, and my reputation as a model is a pretty good one. So I'm pretty proud of it.
That's good. That's good. Hey, it's always good to see the positives of something new. You know what I mean?
Yes.
because we put so much work into the things that we want to do, and then sometimes we don't see the
Yep.
outcome of what we actually want to see. But for you
Yep.
to go into to be doing bodybuilding and then go into modeling and then find that niche
Mhm.
inside of modeling to where you don't have to completely change your body to what Hollywood says that a model is supposed to look like, and you can
Yes.
do it from the standpoint of what you want it to be. That's
Yeah.
actually a true blessing. So, uh,
Yeah. And it's been nice to the feedback. At first I got that like, oh my God, she's showing her ass. But like once the newness wore off, I started
mhm,
having people come out of the woodwork. I started having husbands be like, hey, I showed your photos to my wife and it made her want to do a boudoir shoot or it made her want
okay,
to do these other things. And like you get a little bit of hate here and there. It's normal. People
yeah,
don't always understand. I mean, people
yeah,
probably hated the Sistine Chapel after it was painted, and
oh
it's
yeah,
art. Get over it.
yeah.
Um,
There's
but
always gonna be somebody.
but the number of people that have seen what I do and then come out and been like, "Yo, I never thought I would qualify to be in front of a camera, and you've shown me that I can, and you've shown me that." Anybody can do it, and if you can do it,
Mhm,
I can do it, and then they go do it, and it's
gotcha.
been very empowering. It makes me really excited, just to help other people get to where
Right.
I'm at. Even some days I feel like I look like shit. I had a photo shoot yesterday, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm not in the mood. I don't feel good. I don't feel like I look good. And then I saw the photos, and I was like, oh, those look good. And now
Yeah.
other people are going to see them whenever I release them, and they're gonna go through that same thing, and people have asked me, like, "How do you always, look a certain way?" I'm like,
Right.
"Honestly, I show up sometimes just like, I don't wanna do this, let's get it over with," and then it comes out great, and so
Gotcha.
it's really interesting, it's creative, and I love being able to empower other people to do the same thing.
Okay. Definitely. Okay. I like that. I like that. All right. Okay. So with that, with the life changes that you spoke about when we first came on the episode,
Mhm.
with the military, with the bodybuilding, and with the modeling and everything that you do, and at the same time relationship stuff, life stuff, work stuff, and all of that. um what does personal growth look like to you? Like, how do you still get yourself to the level that you want to be at, or to become that better person, and then conquer anything that you have going on?
I would say it's kind of multifaceted.
Mhm.
Personal growth for me might be, doing really well at work, getting a new job, getting a giant raise, which I did this year,
Okay.
and a new job that came with the raise.
Mm.
But also, getting good sleep, um, having that peace at the end of the day.
Right.
Reading has helped me just grow intellectually again because I love to read. I'd gotten away from it. And then this year I kind of dove back into it.
Mhm.
Um, and I just, things like that, things I can do to sharpen my brain in all the different ways.
Mhm.
Kind of is that personal growth, especially, taking on new challenges, taking on new
Right.
responsibilities,
Right.
any kind of training that I can do to become more of a subject matter expert. I love it.
Mhm.
I don't like for my subordinates to know more than me. I love that they do, but I also am
Yeah.
like, I gotta catch up and I gotta
Yeah.
really brush
Definitely.
up on things. So
Definitely.
anything that I can do to just make myself more knowledgeable, marketable, and have solid peace at the end of the day, knowing I'm doing my best, really.
Okay. All right. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. All right. So with that, then, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? If anything, like, where do you
Oh,
see yourself, like, and then you being like, okay, I wish I didn't do this, or I wish I wasn't like this.
yeah. I would say either it would be, hey, please, a couple more minutes. Um, I would say I would want to be more patient sooner. I've learned a lot of
Okay.
patience and a lot of um, understanding and how to step back and not charge headlong into things very like in the last year or so. I think
Okay.
I if I could change something, I would have learned it sooner. And I would have done it sooner. But,
Okay.
can't can't control that.
Yeah.
But that
Nah.
it also kind of leads to charging into emotional things and, assumptions and just being incorrect. And I definitely learned how to not do that, but if I could change one thing, I would definitely go back and learn it sooner.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, I say this: patience is important.
Yeah.
Definitely. So the fact that you went there and said that just lets me know that a lot of us have been in that realm or been in that stage of wishing that we had the patience to deal with certain things and
Yes.
how to cope with them and
Yep.
how to get over them, because sometimes we want things to happen just like this, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we both know in our life things don't happen like that. Things are going to happen when they're
Yeah.
supposed to happen and how they're supposed to happen. So having patience to understand,
Hmm.
that's definitely major and that's definitely key. So I'm with you on that one though.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Definitely. Okay, so with that though, briefly, without telling too much of your, pinky in the brain plans to take over the world and all that. Tell me about some short-term goals that you may have, and maybe a long-term goal that you're setting for yourself to accomplish.
Okay. So right now I am in the VA process. So
Okay.
semi short term goal would be to get my rating and it not be a bad one.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so I'm kind of three-fourths of the way through. So I've been waiting for a long time.
Okay.
But it should be in the next few months that I'll find that out. So I'm really excited about that.
Mhm.
And another short term would probably be getting brushed up on everything I need to for this new job because
Okay.
it is a lot and it's hitting the ground running. But
Okay.
I don't like feeling like I'm behind the curve, even though everybody's like, dude,
Mhm.
it's a new job, get over it. I'm like, no, I'm behind.
Right. Right. Right.
so
Right.
so just trying to brush up on everything as much as I can, as fast as I can.
Okay.
And long term, I would say, in the next year or two, I want to compete again. And I also want to get to a point with like financial freedom.
Okay.
I've got multiple streams of income. I want more. And I'm
Mhm.
working on
Mhm.
it. So I'm really trying to get that passive income going, especially with the VA and all this other stuff. Just the more stability that I can have, the better. So,
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. Okay. So, as we come to an almost close of the episode, do you have any final remarks? Do you have any, uh, positive words or affirmations that you would like to say to some of your peers or some viewers, or ladies that's trying to get into the fitness world or modeling world? Just anything that you want to say now. This
yeah,
is your floor.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, I think the biggest thing that I tell people when they ask me things, especially about fitness, of like, how do you do all these things? Just start. You know,
Mhm.
it sucks to be the new person in the gym. Get a personal trainer if you need it so that you don't feel like you don't know what you're doing. Get a coach, ask questions. You see somebody who knows what they're doing, 9 times out of 10, that person is going to be willing to answer a question you have.
Right.
They might look scary. I'm one of the people in the gym who has like resting, like, I'm going to kill you face.
Right.
But, I love it when people come up and just ask me questions of like, hey, can you show me this movement? Can you explain to me why you're doing this thing? Um, just ask questions. And like I said, just being very realistic with your goals, with the things you want to do. If you want to cut 50 pounds, you're gonna have to kinda, like, walk it down. It's not just gonna be a pound a week for the next, 50 weeks till you do that.
Yeah.
It's You have to set complete and total goals for yourself, be realistic when things need to change,
Mhm.
when you need to tweak things, um, be realistic when things aren't working. You know, you can say that you're superhuman and all these other things don't apply to you, for
Mhm.
so long, but eventually you're going to be a human just like everybody else. And certain things are going to work, certain things aren't.
Definitely.
Um, so that, and then, if you need the mental stuff, mental health and mental balance are some of the biggest things. You will not be successful in any other arena if your mind and your stress and your sleep are not where they need to be. Um,
Definitely.
so that's been one of the biggest things. You're not weak for saying you need help. You're not weak for getting help. You're not weak for needing medication. You're not weak for anything. Anything you can do to get yourself to just being a better all around person and feeling better and having that peace is worth it. So
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Okay. Okay.
I
Hey,
love
well,
it.
I appreciate you sharing that. Really do. Really do. Appreciate those positive words that you just gave to the people. Um,
Right.
Before I do get you off of here, tell the people how they can follow you. Tell the people how they can see what you have going on or see your journey and possibly support you if that's
Absolutely.
something that they want to do.
Yeah. So Instagram, it's Chavez Alyssa. It's like Alyssa without the A. TikTok, same thing. I post a lot of workouts on TikTok, a lot of videos, I would say. But Instagram is where I post in I have a channel, and I'll actually post the workouts that I do. So you can join that, you can follow it. I try to interact as much as I can. I try to remember to post. Sometimes I forget, and I'll have people be like, "Yo, you haven't posted your workout this week." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." um, but I'm
Yeah,
definitely, you can reach me there. Facebook, you can follow me, you can add me. I do have a friend request list that is rather long. So following me is usually the best way, but I'm trying to get through it. YouTube, I have one. It's also Chavez Lissa. I haven't really uploaded on it. I really need to like go down that rabbit hole and do that.
mm,
But it's just not been something I've been able to keep up on. But yeah, that's pretty much Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are kind of like my three things that I do. So
okay. All right. All right. Definitely appreciate that. Hey, but uh, before I do let you go and before we end this live, I want to go ahead and introduce and promote a little bit. Hey, so guys, if you are into this type of thing, or if you do need a decent, good read that's not too long, that's not
yes,
too crazy, that has a purpose, that has a point, y'all should definitely go pre-order my new book. It will be dropping August 2nd, 2024 on Amazon and Amazon eBooks. And if you download the Amazon.com Kindle app, you can get it in your Play Store. If you buy the book or pre-order the book off of Amazon, it'll download automatically to your Amazon Kindle app so you can read it. But the book is called The Mind of a Troubled Man. The Mind of a Troubled Man, and it's pretty much a devotional, pretty much leadership, a growth, a um, a journey type book for the black male, but it also can be translated to any race also because it talks very, very deeply about some of the trials and tribulations, the struggles, the things that men go through, the reason why men think the way they think, the way we see things, the alpha status, the pride, the all of that. It talks in the realm of a lot of all of that, and it's very, very deep. I shared some personal stories. I shared some things in there that'll be a good read for males and females. It also will be a good read for you also because you might understand why your man is so distant or closed off sometimes because of the things that's going on in his head. But again, the book is called The Mind of a Troubled Man, dropping August 2nd, 2024. You can pre-order it now. If you check out my Instagram page or my Facebook page. The pre-order link is on there for Amazon.com, and go get it. It's only $5.99. It's not a big pocket hit. It's cheap. It's something that costs less than a value meal, so you can get some good nourishment for your body through my words instead of going to spend $10 to $12 on a value meal at one of these fast food restaurants. Five
facts.
ninety nine. Get it, and that's all I gotta say. It's a very good read. But
I'm excited to read it.
oh, thank you, thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
with all that being said, I really appreciate you coming on here, chopping it up, sharing some of your personals, sharing your journey, your experiences, and all of that. And again, this episode will be chopped up, edited, and it will be put on all of my streaming platforms. And I will tag you and everything so your followers can see it also.
Yep, add me as a collaborator. I will accept.
Got you, got you. But again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience with the whole setup and trying to get everything
It's
set
all
up
good.
right. But again, I appreciate you coming on and have a blessed day. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it
Thank
as
you.
well.
You too. All right.
See ya.
See you.